Greetings, initiates. Jedediah Thomas, the Mind Master here. Today, I wanted to cover a little bit about some of my dreams and visions for the future and how everything kind of fits together with the healing and that, and then the group I just launched and everything I've got coming up. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. So as you can see, I've expanded my list of services. So I started with just motivation, right? That's kind of how I started all of this. And then from that, I developed trauma removal and belief shifting, which I've done a lot of content on. And I'm kind of officially expanding my list of what I can do, what I've done multiple times, and basically the things that I've got down to more or less of a science. And of course, I'll make improvements over time. Multiple personality integration. So I fixed a couple of those. I removed a lot of soul imprints. I have a video about that. It's kind of difficult to describe what they are quickly. I've been able to actually remove 12 demonic entities from people through exorcism. I've actually been able to remove one curse, right? So at first I thought soul imprints were curses. I'm revising that. Curses are a lot more sinister, and they're somehow connected. So demons, imprints, and curses are somehow related. I'm not sure the mechanism. I think it's like you get one, and then it's almost like the lubricant that allows you to get one is the other stuff. So I'm still trying to like nail that down, but I'll figure that out. I've taught several people how to actually connect with the higher power, actually receive input and downloads from God, basically, or the divine or source or whatever you want to call it. Very similar to, say, what Nikola Tesla did, George Washington Carver, anyone that received information from outside of themselves. I put a science to that, and I can repeat it. Chakra healing. I actually did quite a long video about specific chakra, the solar plexus chakra, in my Initiates of the Mysteries of the Mind group. So join that if that's something that you're interested in. And of course, the one that's too secret for anyone to know about. It exists, and I've used it on several people, but it's far too powerful to even bring to the light of day, except for very select few. Coming soon, I'm working on healing perception issues, which would be like, when your memory or your perception of events is affected, like you're not perceiving reality as reality, things like that, which is related to the chakras. And it's also related to non-personality segmenting, which is basically my name for amnesia. And the reason I call it non-personality segmenting is because, unlike a multiple personality, it's not enough code for you to be able to reason with it. It's not sentient, it's just there, and it's blocking off your memory for some reason, right? Basically to protect you. But the reason for that might be different. And I'm still trying to crack into actually how to fix that, right? So these are the ones that I'm still working on trying to figure out how to do. These are the ones I've nailed down. And basically, as my work expands, as I work on new people, if they run into new problems that I've never experienced before, I'm sure I'll come up with more methodology to fix that. But up to this point, hands down, I've created the most powerful methodology for all of these 10 things, and nobody else on the planet comes close to it. No one in science or religion can come close to the work that I'm doing. And I've made plenty of videos about those comparisons. Now, the other thing I want to cover in this video is kind of like my vision for the future, right? Because I just recently launched the Initiates of the Mysteries of the Mind. So I have that model over here, right? So the idea of it is that people are suffering, they're confused, they're lost, whatever, right? They're damaged. And then they come into this group and they go from confusion to now clarity, right? So Initiates of the Mysteries of the Mind, the whole purpose of it is to create a science around finding your purpose, aligning yourself with that, applying practical tips from that to your life and your business. And it also goes into the actual science behind what I do. What I do is very heavily related to the electric universe model, which science denies, right? But if gravity was the source of everything, I would not be able to do what I do. So my work is proof that they're wrong. Anyways, But anyways, it's a very science heavy group, very maybe intellectual, practical tips for life, business, and science around all of this stuff. It's basically um, the science aspect of what I do in several different ways. Now, inside of this, you have the levels of healing, right? The healing, the healed, and the whole. And I've broken down this a little bit before, but I want to kind of expand on it. So the healing is people who have just started on the healing path, right? They've just made some intention to better their lives. They maybe they've had some traumas removed, maybe they've had some beliefs shifted, whatever, right? They're just setting that intention to actually be better, right? Be a better person than they were before, more healed than they have been. The healed level is basically once they've got through everything that they know about, right? Everything that they're conscious of, then we can basically call them healed. Now, once they're healed, they can increase their goals for what they want in life, increase their vision, right? And once they've achieved that vision, we would call them whole, right? And so the difference between, say, these levels and any other religion is that these are not static levels, right? So let's say you're whole, and then you either set a bigger vision, right? You're a millionaire and you want to become a billionaire, or you just made six figures and you want to make, seven figures. Now that your vision is bigger, you might have more limiting beliefs that come up. You might have more traumas, or you could at any point develop limiting beliefs or traumas just through your daily life, right? So there's basically you would just recycle back to healing, you would get healed, and then you work on the next vision for your life. So it's very dynamic. So there's no better than the other people or worse than the other people. There's no shame in recycling back to it. It's just kind of this almost like a flywheel that just kind of heals you and heals you and heals you whenever you need healed, right? Whenever your life is not in alignment with what you actually want, then that's when you would be in the healing process. Now, the people that are actually administering this healing, right? Because the ultimate purpose of healing is not only to feel better, but also to take massive action with zero stress, like superhuman levels of action that you can only imagine because most people have limiting beliefs, they have traumas that they're trying to push through. And what I'm talking about is basically like a permanent flow state. So if you can look up flow state and whatnot, but what they do by force, I do by basically the natural removal of everything that's in the way of it. So my way of doing it is a lot more powerful and it's a lot more permanent. Now, novice healers are basically those who can administer motivation to people. They're just they're on the healer's path. They're learning how to heal people, and the motivation method is the safest for teaching someone new how to actually work in the mind. There's nothing that can go wrong, so it's very safe for new people to learn that, and then we kind of get a good idea of what their character is, whether they're actually there to help people or if they're doing it for any kind of nefarious purpose. Then we can kind of pick it up there, and then going on to adept healer, right? Those are the people who can remove traumas, and basically um, there's not really much that can go wrong there either, but there's a lot more to learn, and it is more of an art. Whereas the motivation is pretty set in stone and standard with each person. It would be pretty similar. Trauma removal is going to be extremely different per person, so it does take a lot more work to actually master that. And once they've mastered that, then they would be an adept healer. And then the final level, mind master, which is what I am, are those who can actually shift beliefs as well, because that is not only the most complicated aspect of working in the mind, but it is also the thing that can go extremely wrong if you don't have a clue what you're doing. And maybe sometime I'll share a story of how I know that. Anyway, so this is like the simple model that you guys have seen thus far, and I'm going to make it a lot more complicated because there's a lot more moving parts here than I basically kind of announced and have in place yet. So this is partly what I have in place right now, which is the Initiates of the Mysteries of the Mind, which I've already launched it for $20 on School. So check that out if you want it. But then there's also layers in the future. And now I'm going to go to this future vision that I have. So we have still the initiates of the mysteries of the mind, but now you see that the levels of healing and the healer's path are now actually broken up into separate entities, right? So you have, of course, over here, initiates of the mysteries of the mind, science and application. If people want to be on the healing path, they can jump in and be healed. We have the mastered mind, which is basically kind of the business that I've been running of actually just healing people. And that's separate from the initiates group. And that's separate from everything else. So you can just hop right in and start on the healing path. And then also, I'm going to be creating a church, right? An entire religion around what I'm doing. And the clergy will actually be the ones who are administering this healing on people. So we'll be able to keep close tabs on who has access to these modalities. Now, the laity are just normal people who want to basically have spiritual healing and get in contact with God. All of these are actually separate, right? They're actually separate entities. They're separate organizations, if you will. They're basically separate in function and in administration. So what that means is that you can be part of the initiates group and never decide to be healed and never decide to join the church. That's totally fine. You can do that. You can decide to accelerate your life with the healing path and decide not to be part of the initiates group and decide to not be part of the church. That's totally fine as well, right? You can be part of the church and not part of the initiates group. And for whatever reason you decide to, not pursue the healing path, okay, that's fine. I mean, technically in the church, you are kind of on part of the healing path, which is like the spiritual side of it, which is like, imprint removal and demon removal and whatnot. But in order to actually be a member of the clergy, you actually have to be performing these healings. In order for you to be performing these healings, you have to be clergy, right? So the only one that there's a requirement that, there's an overlap is the clergy of the church, which I'm going to start hopefully this year. And in any other capacity, you don't have to do more than what you want to do, right? But I believe that the initiates of the mysteries of the mind will appeal to those with a very scientific line of thinking, probably not scientific background, because what they teach as science is not science, but that's a whole nother topic. But anyone who loves science, who loves the scientific method, who wants to explore the actual physics, the mechanics of the universe, that's going to appeal to those people. Anyone who wants to grow their business, who wants to apply practical tips to their life and actually align their life to their purpose, that is where you're going to be, right? The initiates group. And then basically anyone who just wants beliefs removed or anyone who wants trauma removed, they can just jump right into this. And there's no requirement for them to be anything else, right? There's just we perform a service, right? You have this problem, we fix the problem, you're good to go, right? And if that's all you want to be involved with, that's totally fine. We're here to heal you, right? And then for those who really want to take it a step further, and beyond understanding the science and actually have a relationship with this kind of higher being, then the church would be for that, right? And so once I get the church started, we will have religious services. We will have our own Bible, if you will, right? We won't call it a Bible. We'll figure out some name for it, but it will be our book of doctrine and our book of beliefs, right? And that will not be what from any religion that you've seen, right? It will be our own religion. And those who are part of it, if they want to actually heal other people, then they can learn that, become clergy, and we'll filter them through that process. But we'll have outreach and basically all of the things that you would see in a normal church, except we're not going to have the beliefs of whatever you're familiar with, whatever it is, right? This is going to be entirely new. So anyways, this is the expanded model. Hopefully it's not too confusing for you. The big takeaway here is all of these are separate. If you just want science, you can have it. If you just want religion, you can have it. If you just want healing, you can have it. Or you can have more than one, however you want to be involved. but there is healing here, there is science here, and there is truth here. And these three are married in a way that nobody else has ever done in the history of mankind, and we are just getting started. So stay tuned for more updates about the church. Stay tuned for more updates about the group and about the mastermind. Most of my videos are about the mastermind, which is just me working on clients. I have mentioned a couple times about the group, which has already launched the beginning of November. And then at some point in the future, hopefully this year, I'll actually have a church where people can come and actually worship. So I'd love to hear your comments, your thoughts on the things that I've covered. Hopefully this was clear for you. Be sure to check me out on Facebook. My link is below. Send me a DM. It's got to be something more than like, hi, how are you, for me to respond. But I check all my message requests. So if you want to get a hold of me, you absolutely can. Just make it obvious that you've seen a video or you're interested in talking with me or whatever, and you don't sound like a scammer, a spammer, or a bot. So once again, I'm Jedediah Thomas, the Mind Master, hopefully the first of many. And this is a little glimpse into the future. This is the state of the onion as of right now, December 2023, and look forward to having you on the channel and growing with you in the future. All right, take care. Bye.